We're resuming our book, Al-Adab Al-Mufrad, a code for everyday living, the example of the early Muslims by Imam Bukhari. Tonight's chapter is chapter 482, the title of which is 3 Times of Undress. Hadith is 1052. Tha'laba bin Abu Malik al-Qurazi said he wrote to Abdullah.
By the way, when we say Ibn Abu Malik, because it's English, but when you use the Arabic, you say Ibn Abi Malik, because Abu becomes B because of the Ibn. Straight away, the one after that becomes Majroor. Ibn Abi Malik al-Quradi. Al-Quradi from Bani Qurayza, na'am.
Quradi, okay. So Tha'laba bin Abi Malik al-Quradi said he wrote to Abdullah bin Suhaib, the brother of Banu Haritha bin al-Harith, to ask him about the 3 times of undress. Abdullah used to observe these times, in brackets, and I asked him about these times. Tha'laba said, he asked, what do you want? I said, I want to observe them. He said, when I take off my garment at midday, none of my family who has reached puberty comes to me without my permission unless I call them. Nor do they come until dawn when people know that I have prayed the morning prayer. Nor do they come when I have prayed Isha and undressed in order to sleep.
I am dressed or undressed?
Undressed.
Okay, Jazakallah. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. This question has been asked to me a number of times, and it's very important for us to learn what this ayah is all about, which is the ayah in Surah An-Nur, verse 58. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, O you who believe, لِيَسْتَأْذِنْكُمُ الَّذِينَ مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ لَمْ يَبْلُغُوا الْحُلُمْ مِنْكُمْ. Let those who are under your possession from the slaves and the ones who did not reach the age of puberty. So, يا أيها الذين آمنوا ليستأذنكم الذين ملكت أيمانكم والذين لم يبلغوا الحلم منكم 3 مرات, 3 times. The first one, من قبل صلاة الفجر, من قبل صلاة الفجر, that's the first one. Second one, وحين تضعون ثيابكم من الظهيرة, and when you undress yourself after الظهر, which is the قيلولة, the الظهر time. قال ومن بعد صلاة العشاء, and also after the prayer of Isha. That is when you are undressed as well. ثلاث عورات لكم. This is the 3 times which are when you are exposing your awra. We call them the 3 times of privacy, private, you know. ثلاث عورات لكم ليس عليكم ولا عليهم جناح بعدهن طوافون عليكم. There is no harm upon you or them after these times. So exempting these times, after that, there's no harm for those who are your slaves because they are with you in the house, and the ones who are below the age of puberty. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بعضكم على بعض كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات والله عليم حكيم. طيب. Coming here, first of all, to the story before we start to explain the hadith. Tha'laba ibn Abi Malik al-Quradi, he went to Abdullah ibn Suhaib. He's asking him regarding the 3 awrat which is mentioned in the verse which I have just narrated now and I conveyed and I have recited, and also I explained. What is the 3 awrat? So he said to me, and by the way, he used to as well use them. Abdullah ibn Suhaib, he used to use, to implement these 3 times where he's undressed. So he said to me, what do you want? So I said, I want to implement them. So he's learning, he's not just gaining the knowledge just for the sake of, increasing my knowledge, you call it in Arabic, thaqafa. Just want to, increase my knowledge, nothing else. Curiosity, that's it. No, he wants to implement it because it's deen. I want to learn it because I want to implement it. Because if you learned it and you didn't implement it, it's going to be hujjah upon you, a proof against you on the day of resurrection. So he said to me, إِذَا وَضَعْتُ ثِيَابِي مِنَ الظَّهِيرَةِ, if I undress myself during the noontime, no one will come on to me or enter upon me from my family, from my family, from my children. It's not his wife. His wife is with him. بلغ الحلم, who is reached الحلم. الحلم, that means he reached his puberty. He became an adult. إلا بإذني, except with my permission. Okay, right. So when he says the first time, when it is dhuhr time, because he wants to sleep, and normally he would ask his wife to come with him, and he might undress himself. So those ones who are all the time in the house from the children who hasn't reached puberty, or the ones who are the slaves. So because they are tawafuna alaykum, as the ayah says, they're all the time mingling and mixing with you. Okay, this time they're not allowed to come without permission. They're not allowed to come onto me, because the reason behind this, they might catch me off guard, and I might be into, doing what the husband does with his wife. Something that is not really decent for them to see or for you to show. So he says he will not come on to me or enter upon me who had we're talking about the children who did not reach the age of puberty. As for the children who reach the age of puberty, they're not allowed to come onto the parents or anybody without seeking permission. We're talking about the one who did not reach the puberty. Okay, so the children here, they are when they are 4 years old. The Salaf used to teach their children when they are 4 years old, 5 years old, because they haven't reached their puberty. They reach the puberty when they are 11, 12. So from 4 years old, they will not enter. Before that, is babies, of course. They don't understand the awrat. But when they are 4 or above, they start remembering. If they watch something which is naughty, no good, they will remember it, and they will use it against you, or maybe it will take them from the path of the deen, because they have seen something from you doing, and I do have lots of stories regarding this issue, where is a girl, young girl, she's pleading to the girl, what is the color of the underwear of her, or the pants of her mother or father, because they've seen it, because they enter upon them. So we have to teach them this etiquette. So if he is over the age of puberty, he has to take permission regardless. He said, except if I call him. So if I call him, I'm ready. I'm giving him permission. Come, child, no problem. So that will be his permission. Second time, قال ولا إذا طلع الفجر, not when the Fajr is dawn, and now this is before the prayer. So you're going to get up, usually maybe because you could be undressed with your wife. Okay, so you're not allowed before the Fajr to come as a child. You have to be taught. Okay, and the third one, when I pray the Isha, because normally these people, when they pray the Isha, straight away they sleep. They might do the witr, but they sleep. They don't really stay on movies and things like this. They sleep because they want to, they've got time, they've got work, and they've got Fajr prayer. So he would tell the slaves, the servants, or they were mixing and mingling, and the children not to enter upon him. So these times have been specified by the Almighty Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because there are times of being caught off guard, so they might expose something that the others will be not really happy with. As for the children who have reached their puberty, that's any time. Now, regarding this verse, and regarding these three prefaces, you have to understand the following. Number one, the scholars differed. Why they differed? Because some of them, they said it's abrogated. Some of them, they said it is abrogated. So we find, for example, this ayah, what is being mentioned to Abdullah ibn Abbas, and this is on Sunan Abi Dawud, by the way. When it mentioned to Abdullah ibn Abbas, a group of people from Iraq, they came to Abdullah ibn Abbas, the interpreter of the Quran. He said, Ibn Abbas, Ibn Abbas, this ayah, which is in Surah An-Nur, verse 58, which we have been commanded to do what is being commanded in the verse. But we see that nobody is implementing them, which is the 3 awrat. And that is what I've been asked a number of times about this ayah. So this is for you, inshallah, as an answer for that. Whereas يا أيها الذين آمنوا ليستأذنكم الذين ملكت أيمانكم والذين لم يبلغوا الحلم منكم, to the end of the verse. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, Inna Allah halimun rahimun bil mu'mineen. Verily, Allah is forbearing, merciful to the believers. Yuhibbu sitr. Allah loves for privacy not to be exposed. So he wants to cover up. And before, at the time when this ayah was revealed, that's Abdullah ibn Abbas saying, people's houses, they don't have basically proper doors and proper screening and proper curtains and proper barriers. So maybe that the servant, the person who's slave, or the child, or maybe the orphan girl, which is being looked after by the male, they might enter upon them while the man is with his family, while the husband is doing what he does to his wife. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded them not to enter until they take permission during these times. But Allah now, He brought the barriers and the curtains and the screening and the doors. So I don't see anybody is implementing those 3 awrat. That's one opinion. Second opinion, which we find it from, if Allah's memories, my memories did not really forget, Sa'id ibn Jubayr, he said, if I'm wrong and I will correct it, but it's, I think, one of the Salaf, he said, no, the ayah is not mansukha. Mansukha mean abrogated, still implemented. So what is the correct opinion? The correct opinion that, first of all, Allah Azza wa Jal in this ayah showed us the reason why that those people has to take permission, which is the one that mingling from the servant, from the slaves, and number 2, from those children who did not reach their puberty, girls or boys, it doesn't matter. That is to, he had mentioned the reason is to, for the aura of the husband and the wife not to be shown. So if it is the case, then regardless of whether you have doors with keys and everything, the times are still there. But they're not restricted to those 3 times. Some people, their times of privacy is not the dhuhr. It could be after Asr. That's when he sleeps. He sleeps after Asr. So he wants, and sometimes this man is having more than an hour, not just more than 3 hours. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times he's undressed. And he has, those times, all the time he's been undressed with his wife. So he wants to teach those children not to enter upon him. As soon as, for example, that he teaches them, for example, every time that he is closing the door, or he's putting a red light, don't come. So every time, so he's putting the red lights, don't come. So it's more than 1 time. Okay, so he has to teach them. So it's not limited to 3 times. It could be 1 time, could be 2 times, and as well, it's not abrogated. Even with the keys and everything, they have to be taught that if, for example, you see me and my wife and your mother and your father see me, my wife, or I'm your mother. It could be, for example, and she's an orphan, or he's an orphan. He's not your child. You're looking after him. So you're teaching them. As soon as I'm in the bedroom together, don't come in, regardless of how many times. So this is to teach them. This is not to do just limited. But at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, that's when the time the people there, they sleep after Isha straight away. We don't. Very hardly these days. My studies after Isha, subhanAllah. And as well, they go to Qaylula. Some in the hot countries, they have Qaylula straight away. Qaylula, which is the noon nap. Okay, they have it. 1 hour. They nap. But here, because of the cold and the different, especially in the winter, which Qaylula you're going to take? If you have Qaylula, you're going to miss Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. Maghrib, at least 3 prayers, you're going to miss them. The time has just shrunk, subhanAllah, the day, I'm saying. So it depends upon which area you live. That's why we say the ayah is not abrogated, but the ayah was revealed at a time where these are the 3 times normally it is the case, where the people will be caught off guard and to be undressed. Hopefully that I made you to understand this properly.